Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harpin on Rugby preview show. And join me to look ahead to Leinster's next URC assignment is someone making his 75th pod appearance. Welcome back to Mr. Neil Keego Keegan.
How are we? Welcome to spring. Summer is nearly here.
Yeah, that definitely looks like that outside. This is we record this on Friday, so everyone who lives in the Dublin area knows exactly what that's all about. I imagine there's a lot of Icelandic comedians preparing a lot of jokes about
Yeah.
how Ireland is coping with the snow, but at least it's good for somebody, you know. But listen, before we crack on, Keego, maybe your quick thoughts on Ireland's win over Wales last week.
Yeah, look, I think going in, I think we're still in this middle phase with Ireland where we're kind of unsure as to where the team actually is, and we're actually starting to realize where the team is. Now, first half was a steamroller job, and second half was a bit scrappy. And I think that's what we need. We can't have everything our own way, much like Leinster in previous seasons, racking up the big victories with minimal opposition. When it came up to the brick walls, we found it difficult in the blue jersey. So there was a little bit of getting lost in ourselves in the second half. But Jeannie Mac, no one expected that scoreline. I know Wales are in trouble, but the one thing they can control, as we said last time, is what's on the pitch. And once again, Ireland just, for some reason, whether it's strangling positivity out of the opposition or frightening the opposition, something is happening or continuing to happen where good teams and every team on every scale is struggling to make the right decision against Ireland. And it's a great place to be. So, there's enough to work on to keep us relatively grounded, but I've got one leg in the air.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I was particularly interested with the role of Kieran Frawley that day. I
Mm,
watched it back again, and I really do think he's a serious part of Ireland's future because although we all say like who on earth could possibly replace Hugo Keenan, I mean there are occasions when you have to, and where there's loads of options out there, it wasn't he didn't just put the 15 jersey on and try to do what Hugo does. He got involved in other ways. He involved
yep,
in the skill set. We saw him at first receiver sometimes. We saw him doing kick passes. We saw him be sort of an extra out half out there as well. It was a different kind of a role. It's interesting the way we adapted to that, and it's good for the team overall, you know. But anyway, listen.
absolutely. And the one
Yeah,
thing there about Frawley is, as we said before, he's played all these positions, so he knows how people think. He knows how the position works. All those positions work. So things like kick passes, and he just operates on a different level because he's got experience of the different areas of the pitch. So he knows instinctively where everyone's going to be and where he can slip into. Hugo Keenan is the best 15 on the planet. That's his specialized role, whereas Frawley can slip in anywhere. So like the more threats we have around the pitch, the better.
absolutely. We'll see who's back for us for the trip to
Mm.
Twickenham next week. Okay, so now it's time to look at our feature match of the week, which of course is Cardiff v Leinster Rugby in round 11 of the 2023-24 BKT United Rugby Championship. It's taking place at Cardiff Arms Park on Saturday, March the 2nd, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. TV coverage in Ireland is on RTE2, Premier Sports 1, and URC.tv. And as ever, you can find the full listings for the weekend over at harpinonrugby.com. Just click the Rugby on TV tab. Leinster named their match day 23 at lunchtime on Friday. If you're watching on YouTube, it's right there in the screen. Or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Akigo picked out a couple of points from the Leinster lineup, starting with Mr. Ross Byrne.
Yeah, I think you know what I think when we're all sitting down at the bar talking about players that maybe just didn't hit the right time, Ross Byrne's gonna be near the top of the list. Now he's far from the end of the journey, but it's just the bad luck he's had. He would have had a run at that jersey, but then we would have missed out on some Jack Crowley and Green. So, I think he's got to take all of these starting opportunities now, and he's really got to. We don't. He doesn't have time to kind of settle back in. He's got to hit the ground running. He's a class operator. We used to say death taxes Ross Byrne. We just need to get that back in. So it's going to be great to see. He's got McGrath in there with him, who has shown some serious flashes of class this season. So we need the two of them operating well. But I'm just hoping that hoping the game is on, number one, and then hoping that Ross can just kind of the muscle memory comes back, and we want to see him run the show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a team like at this time of year, Leinster tend to play the same kind of. They don't make that many changes, but they've made a couple little tweaks, and I do like what they've done to this back line. They moved Jamie Osborne out to 13. We've got Harry Byrne coming into 12, Liam Turner out to 14 on the wing this time. And I think, and Russell on, Larmer full back. I think that's a much more balanced, experience kind of lineup. And we'll see how they get on. But it's definitely a good looking good, all right, with the right amounts of experience. And your second point is about our back row.
Yeah, it never fails to put a smile on my face, the amount of back rows. And it's not just like players who have had bit parts or whatever. This is, no matter where you turn, there's experience. Scott Penny, Deegan, and Will Connors. Like like even second break in the Six Nations, back rowers are in bandages everywhere, and we can put up a back row like that, which is still the envy of the planet. Players who are not far away from a big jersey, just there's so many of them. You almost start thinking, can we shift a couple of them forwards, forward in the pack, like Baird and players like that. But it's just amazing for a genetic population like we are. We're not big people. We have so many fantastic back rows, certainly in blue and in green as well. So it's great.
Yeah, no, it's a great. It's always a great back row. We always call it the one arm bandit for Leinster. You just pull the lever and you'll get three. You'll always get a three quality 6, 7, and 8s there. But yeah, no, it's a great pack as well. Maloney and Jenkins in the second row, the front row. Lee Barron has done well. Clarkson and Boyle. That's effectively our third string front row. But they've all impressed at different times this season, and with a lot to come on the bench as well. We'll get another cameo from Sam. He did really well coming on against Benetton. Reese Ruddock, of course, back on. Michael Toa. Like there's loads to come on there. So that's there's a lot to look forward to for sure. Okay, so now to have a quick look at the Cardiff lineup. Now, Cardiff are currently 12th in the URC with just 3 wins and a draw. But of course, Leinster fans remember it was 2 seasons ago the last time we were in the West Capital, and they actually got us with a penalty at the very last kick of the game, and they'll be looking to do that again.
They'll be looking to do it, but I just think the problem with Wales, certainly after watching the match last week in the Aviva, is it's just permeating every single pore nearly. And I think Cardiff, no matter what they do, with all due respect to them, they're at home, all that sort of stuff, and it was close last time, as you say, but they're going to have to play at 180% to compete. And Leinster have to show up and do what Leinster do, operate optimally. You hit your 85, 90% markers, and there's a big score in this game. It's going to be, I guess you call it character building when you're playing sport and you're going into a tough game, and they're going to wake up tomorrow morning knowing what's ahead of them. And it's very different waking up in a blue tracksuit on tomorrow morning. So it's going to be character building for them. They're going to show up. They're going to try, but there's not a huge amount in that team where, if we say we're picking one team out of the 2 squads, there's not a lot. I don't know what the Water Boys like, but there's not a lot from the. That's a really mean thing to say. I'm sorry. The snow is getting to me. I'm sorry. Let's edit that out. But no, like there's a couple of good players, but there isn't anything that is going to cause any sleepless nights tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when I was thinking back at that time they won, it actually put me in mind also of Ulster's win on New Year's Day. They did the same kind of thing. They done their homework and they were trying to find ways around our defense. Now, of course, there were 2 different types of defense. We've got this new Nienaber style, but it's the same kind of principle. Little chips over the top, little crossfield kicks when we've gone now, trying to get ahead of us, our narrow kind of defense and stuff. So they can try that. But when Ulster and Cardiff succeeded with that, they still won by just a point. So they'll need to be perfect. They'll need to do well. But that said, I mean, when Connacht were there a couple of weeks ago, now Connacht they won, but there was a sending off in the first half, but it was a sellout crowd at Cardiff, which is great to see considering all that's going on in Welsh rugby. I'm assuming it'll be something close to that again on Saturday. And it's, you can, with the atmosphere, it's a Saturday night, there'll be a rowdy crowd. There's a lot going on. So it'll be interesting to see how they start, how they get off. And just another, for Leinster fans, might recognize the name on the Cardiff bench, Kieran Parker. He was formerly a Leinster tight head for a while. Then he went off to London Irish. And of course, they folded and now he's ended up in Cardiff. So that's a name we might recognize there. Okay, so now a quick look at the officials. We got Mike Adamson from Scotland holding the whistle, some Welsh assistants, and a Scottish TMO. The weather for Cardiff on Saturday evening, well, it's nothing like Dublin on Friday afternoon. That's for sure. It says patchy clouds, no wind, cold enough, but no chance of rain. So that's looking good. Hopefully it will go ahead. Which of course brings us on to looking elsewhere in the URC. Is there any other match? One other match that's caught your eye in the schedule?
Can't get rid of the Welsh. So Connacht and Scarlets, it will be the other game. The Leinster one is the late game. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ulster are
So,
playing at the same time. They'll be playing Dragons at the same time.
okay. So yeah, I love Connacht. I love what's happening there. Obviously, shout out to Ulster. I hope everything turns around and they kind of rejig whatever they need to rejig. But no, for me, Connacht, they put out a pretty good team to go in against the Scarlets. I think Cian Prendergast is class. I think there's a lot of good players in there ready to rock and roll. They're at home, similar to the Arms Park. It'll be packed out on a Saturday in Galway. Always great crack. And I do fancy Connacht, and obviously fancy Leinster as well. But that's going to be my other game of the weekend.
Brilliant. And just a quick shout out to the sevens, the men's and women's that we both playing in Los Angeles. The men's have actually risen to second in the rankings in the men's competition there. So that's they're going well. And the women's, of course, had that win down in Perth, so that's always good. A bit of extra rugby, quick matches, but always good if you can catch them. They're all on online and being streamed and that. And also one final congratulations to the Wolfhounds, the women's sort of regional team that's roughly made up of Leinster and Ulster that won the Celtic Challenge last weekend against the Clovers. Okay, so that just leaves us with head on the block time and your prediction for the match in Cardiff.
So I just realised I'm in wooden spoon territory. So I've put Leinster in here for a big win.
I think
It's
you're
gonna.
owning wooden spoon territory at this stage. You're the king of that territory at the
I
moment.
feel like I've grown up in the '80s again with all these wooden spoons. But no, it's no. I think it's a big win. Like I'd put 10 plus in there, which is being nice. That was before the snow, so I think. It's going to be a big win, but it'll be great atmosphere, as you say, with the full house. The kind of dreams of giant killing nights that everyone talks about in the clubhouse, but this won't be one of them. Leinster are going to have a really, really big win.
Yep, there's a lot of players in that team. The Ross Burns and Jamie Osborne's and the Jordan Larmers. It will be also. I mean, Ross will be thinking like put in a good display here, and you might be on the fringes of going up to for the rest of the Six Nations and stuff. So there's a lot of individuals, and plus of course the team can do with a big win as well. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, look, we're going to leave it there. Many thanks for joining us again. What stand up gigs do you have lined up down the road?
So on next Thursday, the 7th of March, day after my 27th birthday.
Whoa.
I'm supporting Alex J. Byrne, who's Ireland's best comedy magician in Lucan. And then we've got big gigs in the Mermaid Theatre, 29th of March, and then back in Rascals Brewery on the 27th of March. They're the big ones. Tickets on sale for everything now.
Brilliant stuff. And of course, you'll find the link for his link tree and all in the program notes. Okay, cheers, man. Have a great weekend and hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Cheers. Hope everyone stays warm.
Thanks, God. And many thanks to you all for tuning in to our latest preview show. Enjoy the match wherever you are. Be sure to follow us on all the usual social media channels, including Blue Sky. We will, of course, have a wrap pod for you this week, recording on Sunday evening. And hopefully you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.